back. Well, the Albanese government today announced an extra $10 million for Gaza on top of the $62 million it has already given since October 7. Since the terror attacks on October 7, $62 million, and none of it to Israel. Foreign Minister Penny Wong has this week refused as well to celebrate the brave rescue of 4 Jewish hostages from the grips of Hamas terrorists. And Labor shut down debate on a judicial inquiry into anti-Semitism on university campuses 24 hours after the Prime Minister himself claimed to care about the issue in question time. Now, part of the reason for Labor's moral confusion is pure politics. Labor is under threat from the Greens in inner city areas of Sydney and Melbourne, and now it's under threat from the rise of Muslim independent candidates in southwest Sydney. It's something Peter Dutton referred to when I interviewed him 10 days ago.
Even though the first-term government hasn't lost since 1931, the best outcome from a Labor Party perspective is that they could form a minority government which would include the Greens and the Teals and potentially, as you say, Muslim independent candidates from Western Sydney or perhaps elsewhere.
Now, the excellent journalist at The Australian, Alexei Dimitriadi, reports today that community leader Wissam Shakawi is mobilising the Muslim vote across key southwest Sydney federal seats to topple Labor at the next election, as prominent figures warn the ALP of electoral abandonment. He writes that although Sheikh Shakawi's campaign may not run candidates, several pro-Palestine independents will run as viable protest votes and likely would be endorsed by it. Now, the Labor MPs under threat include Andrew Charlton in Parramatta, Tony Burke in Watson, Jason Clare in Blaxland, Anne Stanley in Werriwa, and the New South Wales Premier, Chris Minns. And the Vote for Palestine group is planning a rally outside of Tony Burke's office this Saturday. In an Instagram post, they've said to Tony Burke, "In 2025, we will vote you out." Well, Shakawi said on social media that we are grassroots, mobilising, funded and coming for your seats. And he also wrote on Instagram that he was mobilising for the federal election with a video taken outside of our regular guest, Labor MP Andrew Charlton's office. Have a look at these 2 clips that he's posted on his Instagram page.
We need people who can echo the voices of the Palestinians who are being decimated and subject to genocide. We need people to come out. We need people to echo their voices. We don't need people to work behind the scenes. We don't want a seat at the table. We want you to speak out. We want you to be open. We want you to lobby. We want you to speak on behalf of your constituents, which you promised to speak on behalf of.
To some of these politicians, the facts don't matter. We've said it before and we'll say it again. The definitions of genocide don't matter. The definitions of apartheid don't matter. The definitions of ethnic cleansing don't matter. They only understand one language, and that's votes, and that's power, and that's people power. That's the only language that they understand. Are we going to let them hear our voice? To date, not a single major MP of government, both state and federal, has said the words Israel and condemn in the same breath.
Well, the political pressure in areas of southwest and western Sydney are thanks to the changing demographics. And this is part of the reason Labor at a federal level is so anti-Israel. It needs to hold on to Western Sydney seats for the Prime Minister himself to remain in the top job. But this is putting politics and self-interest above the national security interest. It's putting politics above the need for the law to be upheld on our streets. And it's putting politics ahead of the need for social cohesion, for an end to anti-Semitism, and for a safe environment for all Australians, including Jews, to live and grow up in.